Hello, all you ghosts and goblins out there. I'm Andrew.
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Sean.
And we are the Night Scholars, exploring the mystifying world of cryptids, ghosts, ghouls, and all things supernatural. Today, we'll be talking about Santa's favorite holiday demon, Krampus. How's it going?
I'm glad you both survived Krampus knocked, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, we were originally supposed to record it and put it out by then, but we ran into
That's okay.
scheduling difficulties.
That's okay though, because we're doing it on Nicholas Tug, and I think that that's equally appropriate.
Oh, you're right.
Isn't it just?
Go ahead, Sean.
So I was able to find a few things. I wasn't able to pinpoint the exact origin and of Krampus, but I did find that it goes back quite a ways. I was able to trace it back at least 200 years, so it's an old tradition and story of the imp who would take the naughty children, and which is a really fascinating take on the whole Christmas idea. That it wasn't just coal; it was you would be taken and never seen again.
That's one of the versions. There's several different ways that he dealt with naughty children.
Indeed. He would whip them, he would drown them in the lake, he would drag them to hell, or just put a rod in their shoes.
Put a what?
A rod in their shoes.
Ow.
Yeah, I didn't find the drag them to hell, though that would make sense since he does appear as a demon sometimes.
Indeed.
Well, I mean,
there's a belief that he is Hell's son, but that's been pretty much debunked and potentially made for a video game.
Yeah, he was. Oh, actually, was it? Because what I'm seeing here is he was the son of Hel, Hel, the Norse god of the underworld.
Yeah, I saw that too, but as Sean also said, the earliest records of him are about 200 years ago, and it also seems to have come out around the same time as a video game, and that was the really first mention of it.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, I didn't see too much outside of that really linked him to Norse mythology, so that's probably pretty accurate.
I could definitely tell that Norse mythology predates Krampus, so I wouldn't imagine much of a crossover.
I mean, sometimes, even in stuff like that, there are minor characters that you don't hear about for a long time until, somebody sees it, in a book somewhere, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna, do that. Like, there was actually a movie, on Netflix that dealt a bit with, Norse mythology. I don't remember what it's called. I don't think it's Antlers.
No, that was a bastardization of native mythology.
Yeah, it was, anyway.
Could have been Ragnarok.
No, it was, specifically about a creature in the woods. But the creature itself was actually the son of Loki. I don't remember what it was called or even what the movie was called, but it was on Netflix for a while because I was trying to find something in that space a while back to watch. I can't remember what it's called anymore, though.
I appreciate that very insightful note.
Yep.
Well,
it's a thing, and I thought I would remember it once I started talking, and I cannot remember it, so...
Note to self, don't ask Andrew for recommendations of movies.
The Princess Bride. That's always going to be my first recommendation for any movie.
Honestly, that's a really solid recommendation because who hates The Princess Bride?
I know people, not me, but people in my family.
No, that's weird. It should
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't believe them.
it's a good movie. I mean, I get it. Like I tell people, like, hey, it was made in 1989, so like if it looks bad, that's why. Also, some parts of it were just supposed to be kind of, bad. It makes fun of
But
itself, and it makes fun of the genre that it's in, which is wonderful. I love stuff like that.
but I mean, yeah. I don't think you can connect Princess Bride to a Christmas movie, though. I'd love to hear that pitch.
Oh no, I can't.
Doesn't she wear a lot of red and green, like Princess Buttercup?
I can't remember. I
I'm
know.
going to say that she does, so therefore she embodies the Christmas spirit.
The king had a wore green, and Prince Humperdinck wore red. I remember that.
Humperdinck
See,
did
there is
wear red.
Christmas all around us.
I mean, you do know that Shrek is
Yep,
based off the Princess Bride, right?
yes.
Like Lord Farquaad is Prince Humperdinck.
Oh, I thought Lord Farquaad was the based off the CEO of Disney at the time who fired the person who created DreamWorks.
I mean, that's a good. That's a possibility, but if you look at the way he looks, like looks wise, he's based off of him.
Yeah, I can see that. I'd never thought of that before, but I can see that.
Yep. Anyway,
All right.
we're not a movie podcast here. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
the only
Krampus.
movie we should be talking about is Krampus with
The
Adam Scott.
Yep, this came out in 2015.
There's excuse you that do not dismiss the masterpiece that is Santa versus Krampus, a Christmas horror story.
I have never heard of that. That sounds like a good time though.
Is it a good
Yeah,
time?
guess you'll have to watch it and find out.
It's like
That
a
means that it's a terrible time and do not watch it.
Is that like a
I
Freddy
didn't say
versus
that.
Jason
Sean said
deal?
that.
Why would I watch anything with Ben Wyatt in it? Is the better question. Anyways,
So I've never
so
actually watched Krampus.
I have
Does
not
it
either.
depict him as a villain? Or like not a villain, but like as a scary monster, or is it just like an actually like good depiction of him?
um, it depicts him as it kind of does. It's like he's not really a good guy. He's not exactly the villain. The villain of the story is the kid who summons him, honestly, and gets his entire family captured.
They had it coming.
It was a little shit, and, and he suffered the consequences.
Aren't most kids?
Indeed. You know, I, I didn't really realize it until I was doing research for this episode that
Mhm.
Krampus was taught to me in my first grade class. So I'm very glad that I got to learn like all of the same lessons that German and Austrian and Bulgarian children did growing up.
Mhm.
Like we even had an exercise where we like took off our shoes and somebody walked around like while our backs were turned and put candy in our shoes if they thought that we were good.
That's that is the greatest first grade tradition I've ever heard of.
It was amazing. Like my entire first grade experience was like peak education.
That, yeah, can't I can't argue with that. You beat my first grade because I can't even remember my first grade.
Well, that's probably because Krampus took you and beat you, and you can't remember anything anymore.
Yeah, that would explain a few things, honestly.
All right. Speaking of,
What about
Andrew, do you want to give a good description of Krampus? Because I think we've gotten very off topic without even actually talking about Krampus so far.
That doesn't sound like us.
You said a description of Krampus?
Yeah, like let's get us back into painting a picture of what Krampus looks like to our audience.
I don't have that written down.
Okay, I have it, so I will go.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So he is depicted as either half man, half goat, or half man, half demon. He's tall, muscular, and imposing, with a grizzled face, long hair, thick yellow brown teeth, a massive skull with horns protruding from it, with a brawny frame, crudely cut that holds crudely cut animal hide and strange furs all over its body. It has sturdy cloven hooves, and although one has been seen, and ugh, sorry, I'm on my phone because I don't have a laptop right now, so apologies. But anyways, it has also been seen with one hoof and one claw, but typically is depicted with sturdy cloven hooves. And he has the notable features of carrying a bandolier of bells, which is the cross pattern, like harness. And he
Yep.
wears heavy iron manacles or shackles. And he has a bundle of branches that he carries around to whip the children with. And that is what I have for the depiction of the beautiful Krampus. However, if
This
you
one,
want to see good depictions, of course, there's always the running of the Krampus that happens every year in Salzburg and probably other places that you can just Google and look up really fun, fascinating videos on YouTube.
one, this article right here has describes him as a yeah. Where'd it go? A devilish mountain goblin, and with a cache of oversized cowbells.
Yes, those are. Is that what the bells are? Cowbells?
Yeah, that's what this one says.
Hmm.
It would make sense. You'd want to hear him coming, and it's hard to not hear cowbells.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I see. So I know you mentioned the running of Krampus or with Krampus. Do you know how to say that? The Krampus run?
I do not. Do you have the name? I don't have the name of it. I just have the
It's
running of the Krampus.
Krampus Lauf, which is Krampus Lauf.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sean, your German's a little bit better than mine. Is that right?
I'm trying to find it, and Krampuslauf, yeah.
Yeah, like Krampus Night, I guess is what Krampus Nacht.
Krampusnacht, yep. That was last
Yeah.
night. Well,
Yeah.
at the time of this recording, it was last night. By the time you listen to it, well, that's a whole different story.
But
Yeah, we should.
traditionally, December 5th is the night of it, and then the day after is Nicholas Tug, which is Nicholas, like St. Nicholas Day.
Yeah.
No, one thing I did find interesting is that I was able to find a few Krampus traditions in Australia.
Australia or Austria?
Australia.
Wow, because I know it
Austria,
comes.
definitely.
Yeah, because it comes from German and Austria. Okay.
Yeah, I just found just the usual all silliness of Krampusnacht. Or,
Do they
but
also
it
take
makes sense.
schnapps?
That I wasn't able to find.
Yeah, that's one of the traditions is to take a shot of schnapps. I didn't actually see
Okay.
why though.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Do
Yeah,
either of you have
Like
that?
more. No, I couldn't find anything about the shots.
no, I mean the only thing I see
Shots.
here is what you said about the Krampus run, which you might have said already, which involves alcohol, right? And people dressed as the creature parade through the streets, scaring and chasing people.
Yes. More specifically, children and tourists. Because let's be honest, it's very easy to spot a tourist, especially an American one.
You would know. You've been an American tourist.
I have, and I was so flattered when they thought that I was Eastern European and not American.
Oh,
Oh, good deal.
fantastic.
Indeed. I was just like, thank you so much. You're my favorite person. And they're like, all right, now we understand why you're American. Yes. So they are supposed to drink the schnapps in order to fend off their worst impulses.
Isn't that usually the opposite of how it goes?
Kinda,
Look,
yeah.
I know that it might be a little bit counterintuitive, but it's fine because schnapps comes in a bunch of fun flavors, and I will just use
I've
that
never
as an
drank
excuse.
schnapps, so I don't know. But
I went on a quest once to get banana schnapps once because I thought that it would make a good butter beer, and I was very wrong.
no.
Oh no, you need butter schnapps.
Yeah, I don't know what this recipe was. It was like the early days of Pinterest where people were just throwing out nonsense, and I fell for it as a 18-year-old.
I mean,
Fantastic.
can you really count on Harry Potter fans to give you reliable information?
I
That's
can,
fair.
absolutely. As a Harry Potter fan, I hope that some listeners at least find me slightly credible.
Are you a Hufflepuff, Ashton?
I am
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
not.
Yeah, married a Hufflepuff.
Oh, yeah, no, I am very Gryffindor.
Really? Okay.
Mm,
Would it surprise you if I was a Ravenclaw?
No, I can
It
see
would
it.
surprise it would surprise me that you're not a squib.
Oh,
Ah,
what? What is that?
Non-magical user from a
Uh,
magical family.
basically the worst thing that you can be.
I'm
Like, hey, I could see all the magic, but I can't do any of it myself.
Oh yeah. It might be surprising. I'm actually a Slytherin though.
What? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Indeed. Anyway, so what were these traditions that you found, Sean?
Um, not much. There's several parades. It looks like I was able to find a heavy metal festival. I wasn't exactly able to confirm this one, but there was. It looked like people just like celebrating in the heritage and trying to wear masks that's very similar to Halloween and to scare him off. Is what it made it sound like. A lot of these articles were in German, and my German is not that good.
You're really
But still,
disappointing us here, Sean.
Yeah,
listen.
you're our head for scholarly research, buddy.
I need you to just become fluent in German for this podcast.
Well, blame Duolingo for changing its entire app to make it less easy to learn.
Don't blame them for anything. They
Because
might give us money one day.
I say that like I don't have a Duo plush.
Yeah. You got anything else on the
Okay.
traditions there, Sean?
Nah, I don't really have anything else.
All right, so I kind of want to talk about a little bit more here about what Krampus does.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So what I have here, you did talk about the pole and the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But not in great detail if you would like to expand on that as well.
I don't have a whole lot on that, but around the time, uh, Krampus knocked, or Krampus night in specific, the creature and Saint Nicholas are said to arrive on the evening of December 5th, which, as of recording, was yesterday. Now, while St. Nicholas, Santa, would reward nice children by leaving them presents, Krampus would beat those who are naughty with branches and sticks. In some cases, he is said to eat them or take them to hell, which you also mentioned. I didn't see too much
Mm-hmm.
about him eating them, but I mean, imp demon eats children kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
How else are you supposed to take him to hell? Do you think he just throws him in a burlap sack and drags him?
He has a Santa
Much
sack.
more efficient to eat them.
He has like a
Much
Santa
more efficient
sack,
to
and
eat them.
he tosses them in there and carries them with him back to hell. I don't know. On December 6th, which is today as of recording, which is St. Nicholas Day, the children were awake to either find gifts or nurse their injuries after getting beat with branches and sticks by Krampus.
So we actually have a question from our Twitter account, which is _Night Scholars or X, whatever it's called now, from a follower that you love with a U. And they wanted to know, I already answered, but Sean and Andrew, they wanted to know, what is your belief on this? Does Krampus beat the naughty children, take the naughty children off to his lair, or both?
So,
Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay. So my idea is, it's kind of more of a crime the punishment fitting the crime. I think it really just depends on how bad of a kid they are, right? Like, you stole a candy bar, you get beat with a stick, right? You I don't know, what's something bad a kid can do?
Break into a candy shop.
Yeah, say say you're a real hoodlum, right? You're throwing bricks through windows and going into the candy store and just taking all the candy. Say you physically harm your parents in some way, your siblings, then yeah, I could see him taking you to hell for that.
See, I could see him eating them for that. It's just like, you want to break in and eat candy, then I'll eat you.
You're right. Yep, that's punishment fitting the crime.
Yeah. It also depends on how many times I think he would visit the kid. Like, say it's a first offense, and so you're probably getting beat with a stick or a rod placed in your shoe. But after the third or fourth offense, you're probably getting eaten and dragged to hell. Like,
yeah.
Well, kid, you've had years to change.
But which one happens first, Sean? Which one do you think?
I think the rod in the shoe would be the more uncomfortable experience at first, and then you're going to get beat with a stick.
Hey,
like, okay, let the lesson sink in.
So a rod in the shoe. We talk about kind of like what would be like if you had like a thumbtack in your shoe kind of deal.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm going off of memory right now.
Or to be like having like a pebble in your shoe, to where it's not super painful, but it's just kind of really uncomfortable and inconvenient.
Probably. Because you still want the kid to be able to work. Or can maybe change.
Yeah, especially back then, a lot of kids did work. In the mines, or a lot of times they worked with tools that had smaller hands, so they'd have easier time working things like sewing machines because they're less likely to, lose a finger or whatever because they have the smaller hands to work inside of those machines.
Yeah,
right.
And back then, families would have like pretty commonly like 12 plus children. So
they had like a farm or homestead kind of deal where the children would help with the crops or the animals
yeah,
that lived on the property and all
so
that stuff.
it was incredibly important for them to behave, because one misbehaving child is really going to mess
Upset the
up.
entire dynamic.
Yes. I'm not really seeing like what the rod is, but I'm seeing that it serves as a warning to shape up where they would be next. Is the symbolic meaning behind it?
Okay.
Could be lost in translation over decades.
So that's kind of like when Santa gives you a lump of coal, and if you don't improve, the next year he shows up and beats you, right?
Oh, I haven't heard that expansion of it.
Well, I
haven't
said
heard
it.
Santa beating you.
I said it. You heard it. So I mean, that's something, right?
Well, that is how all mistruths are formed.
Every myth begins with a well-crafted lie.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He probably doesn't beat them. But I hear if you're bad long enough, he does let the Grinch steal your entire Christmas tree. So better be good, kids.
Yeah, kids, stop listening to this podcast and start being good.
Yeah.
Now have your parents listen to this podcast so they can get ideas of how not to be to treat your children. I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
Yeah. Don't let your kids
Yeah.
use TikTok.
Yeah. Uncle Sean will give you $100 if you're nice.
I don't even have $100 right now.
I've been nice,
So,
Sean. Can I have $100?
you have been trying to derail our D&D campaign.
No, I'm just playing my character, buddy.
Anyways, that's a
There's
whole
a
different topic.
Okay, I was gonna say there's a way to make him act differently. You just haven't done it yet. We'll get there.
Oh, you got to actually play a session for that to happen.
Yeah. That's the death of most
Anyways.
campaigns is scheduling.
So, anyways, so what do you think, Andrew? Do you think he's goat or demon?
I mean, if you look at a lot of demonology, especially coming from the Christian side, goats have a lot to do with the devil in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of believe with the pentagram, which the satanic one, not the same symbol that the Wiccans use and all that. Normally it's upside down, right? Which you have the two on top, two on the side, one on the bottom. Which wrong with the two on top would be horns, two on the side. The star would be the ears, and the bottom would be the goatee.
Yeah, it's the goat's head.
Yeah. I mean, I would say he's not a goat man. He's a little too knowing to be just a goat man. So I would go with demon. I'd say.
Well,
It-
I don't know. He comes from very mountainous regions, so it makes sense and to have lakes of a goat where you can traverse Earth pretty easily.
Well, again, he can have the like. If you look at a lot of stuff talking about demons, a lot of them do have the animal legs, right? Even the Jersey Devil, right, has the bent backwards legs like a goat.
It also has the bloodshot eyes, like a skinwalker.
Yeah.
We're not talking about your cat again. Which
Nah,
confirmed itself to be a skinwalker.
I don't think her cat has bloodshot eyes. I think it just has those eyes that stare into your soul.
Yes, he looks very old, honestly, for being 2 months old.
That's alright. I look pretty old for being 26.
I look very young for being the age that I am.
Yeah, I mean, you have a young face, which is good, though.
It is.
That means when you're 60, you won't look like you got hit by a truck. So, unless you get hit by a truck, which hopefully that doesn't happen.
We're putting it out there in the universe that I will not get hit by a truck.
Yep.
I kind of think I kind of think that Krampus is just a very angry fawn.
Okay.
Isn't he a bit big to be a fawn?
Not necessarily.
Isn't a fawn? Well, I guess. Did we discuss what size he is? Because most depictions I've seen make him pretty large.
Yeah, the only number that I've seen was 8 foot, but I'm not sure how credible that was.
That's a full-grown deer,
Oh, no, not that. Like the mythological creature that's half human and half goat from Greek and Roman mythology.
That is a...
There's also a...
fawn.
Yeah.
There's another word for him. Something... It's not a centaur, because that's a horse. I'm blanking. Anyway. I think I know, because I've read all the Percy Jackson books.
But, I don't know. I think that it's a fun story. I don't know. I'm half German, so I'll just say that it's a fun story to tell to kids to get them to behave. And if he is based off of anything, I think that he's very resemblant of fawn slash satyrs slash whatever it is that Andrew thinks that I'm talking about.
I'll look it up.
It could have just been one really angry goat that got mad at a child. and so people started telling stories of the angry goat, and then it transformed into Krampus. As, or it could just be a fun story that somebody just decided, hey, what about this?
Look, if
Oh,
you don't
Saturn.
want to get in trouble for, yeah, that's what we were saying. We were just saying satire.
Oh,
But I don't know, like, why say that you were the bad guy in the story when you could just blame Krampus for why you were getting punishments?
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Now, so going back a little bit, about his origin. So it looks like he was a part of pagan belief, right? He wasn't always put with like Saint Nicholas.
Um, I thought that he was. Did you find
I,
otherwise?
I the only thing I was ever able to find always connected him to Saint Nick.
What I have here is he was possibly a part of pagan beliefs dealing with the winter solstice.
Interesting.
Most Christmas traditions were part of the winter solstice, so it
Yeah.
would make sense.
Uh, yeah. I mean, he's a Central European German creature, demon, whatever. Okay, I see again with my note here that puts him with pagan rituals for winter solstice. Also links him to the Norse mythology, so that might not be accurate.
Uh,
According to this, though, with the spread of Christianity, he did become associated with Christmas itself rather than Krampusnacht, which is the 5th, right?
Right.
Uh, Although apparently the Catholic Church, which, 300 years ago, was the main church still, right? So we're talking about
mhm.
around the time of the Lutheran, uh, like revolution, right? Whatever you want to call it, separation. Which then that kind of started the whole Protestant movement. But apparently, the Catholic Church at one point tried to ban him.
They did.
I don't have a whole lot more in it outside of that. I just thought that was really interesting. And
Yeah, they associated him like kind of what you were saying earlier with
like demonology.
yeah, so they were trying to get people to not talk about it because they didn't want uh depictions of Satan to be
Mixed into the
or demon
holiday.
to be, yes.
I can see that. It could also be one of those things. The more you talk about it, the more real it becomes. Which we'll have an episode on
Again,
something just like that.
ooh, can't wait for that.
Yeah, very very interesting. Like this whole 21st century idea of like manifesting. It goes a lot older than that, especially with certain creatures or deities or whatever. We'll get into that. It's very very interesting stuff. But
Honestly, so what's your opinion, Andrew? Do you think Krampus existed, or what do you think?
I think, or I believe more along the lines of he is some type of mythological demon or underworld being, deity, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Um, he's a little too new for my liking. I mean, this is probably the first time I've said it in the podcast, but I'm not really sure that Krampus exists or ever existed.
Ooh,
That could just be
that's
because
an
I want Christmas season or holiday season to be lighthearted and joyful. I believe in Saint Nick. I mean, there is record. He was a real person. We know that, but I do believe he is
he
Santa
sure was.
Claus,
Okay, well that's a very interesting take.
and he may not necessarily bring every kid, the toy they want, but he does what he can. He does what he can to make the holiday joyous for all children.
Indeed. I just think that with darkness or with light there should also be darkness. Because otherwise there's no punishment.
Nailed it.
Ashton does believe in Krampus, guys. Confirmed.
Ashton just knows that she's going to tell her kids all about Krampus.
That's fair.
I mean, that is a wonderful idea. And maybe it'll work. Maybe your kids will be good kids.
Hey, I was a great kid and I was taught about Krampus.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The best kid.
You say so.
Hmm. Don't know why anybody would doubt me.
I mean, I was always told if I was bad that Mothman would come and steal my catalytic converter.
Save that for a future episode.
This is really like I love every episode you have to throw in Mothman.
He's the best cryptid.
And with that,
sure,
that concludes our Krampus episode. That Mothman is the best cryptid. All that to say that Mothman is the best cryptid.
Thank you again, our ghosts and goblins, for listening to the Night Scholars. You all be good to each other. Don't answer the scratching at your window.
Or do.
But most importantly, stay safe out there.
Good night.